I never believed in betrayal, not the kind that comes from someone you share your soul with. Someone who knows your secrets, your fears, the name you picked for your future child. But betrayal doesn't always wear the face of an enemy. Sometimes it smiles like your best friend. Her name was Alina. She was the maid of honor at my wedding. The one who held my hand when I cried over stupid fights with my husband. The one who swore she'd never hurt me. And my husband? Adil was my world. Gentle, funny, thoughtful. He made me feel seen in a way no one else ever had. At least, that's what I thought. Until the night I came home early from my business trip. Flight got canceled, divine timing, I guess. The house was dark, quiet, but something felt off. Adil wasn't in bed. His phone wasn't on the nightstand. And there was music soft, low, coming from the living room. I remember every second of what happened next, like a slow-motion nightmare. I pushed the door open, and there they were, on my couch, laughing, drinking, his hand on her thigh, her lips inches from his. The kind of intimacy you don't fake not even for comfort. They didn't see me at first. I stood frozen, like my feet had betrayed me too. When Adil finally turned and saw me, the blood drained from his face. Alina gasped, her hand flying to her mouth like she was the victim. I wanted to scream, to cry, but I didn't. I just walked back out the door, silent. Because in that moment, I realized something terrifying. The two people I loved most in the world had chosen each other over me. And that was only the beginning. My name is Sana. I'm 32 years old, a creative director at an advertising agency, and until a few months ago, I thought I had it all. A successful career, a loving husband, and a best friend I could trust with my life. I met Adil at a photography exhibition 7 years ago. He was standing alone, looking at a black and white portrait of a mother holding her child, and there was something about his silence that intrigued me. When he finally spoke, he said, "Isn't it strange how one frame can hold 1,000 unspoken emotions?" I knew, right then, he wasn't just another guy. He felt things deeply just like I did. 2 years later, we got married in a small, intimate ceremony under fairy lights and handwritten vows. He promised to protect my heart, to never lie, to choose me every day even on the hard days. And, for a while, he did. Adil wasn't perfect, but he was patient, calm where I was fiery. A morning person who made me tea before I even opened my eyes. He listened when I spiraled. He stayed when I pushed. Then there was Alina. Alina had been my best friend since college. We met during orientation when she offered me gum during a boring presentation. That silly moment turned into late-night study sessions, heartbreaks shared over ice cream, and spontaneous road trips with broken playlists and empty wallets. She knew everything about me. My first crush. The time I nearly failed a semester. The way I feared abandonment but pretended to be tough. She was my person, my chosen sister. So naturally, when Adil and I got serious, Alina became part of us too. She was always around dinners, birthdays, even random movie nights. Sometimes I'd joke and say, "I married Adil," but somehow I got a 2-for-1 deal. We laughed. We trusted each other. And I never once thought twice about their closeness. Why would I? Adil was mine. Alina was family. Looking back now, there were signs. Little things. Like the way she started texting him directly about plans, the way she'd compliment his cooking with just a bit too much sparkle in her eyes, the way she'd brush off my concerns if I ever mentioned it. "Don't be paranoid, Sana," she'd laugh. "You know I'd never do anything to hurt you." And I believed her. Because that's what you do when your heart is full of love and your eyes are still blind. But love makes fools out of the faithful. If someone had told me that my own best friend would one day be the reason my marriage shattered, I would have laughed in their face. But betrayal doesn't knock. It slips in through the cracks you didn't even know were there. It started with something small. A shift, a whisper, a gut feeling I tried to silence. A deal had been working late more often. At first, I understood. His startup was growing, deadlines piling up, meetings that stretched past midnight. I'd kiss him goodbye at 9 p.m., only to wake up alone at 3 a.m. to the sound of the front door quietly clicking shut. "Sorry, babe," he'd whisper, slipping under the covers. "Long day? Are you asleep?" And I'd pretend to be. But I wasn't. Something didn't feel right. Not just with him. With Alina, too. She'd stopped coming over as often, and when she did, she was different. Distracted. Anxious. She talked fast, laughed louder than usual, avoided eye contact when I asked about her love life, which used to be her favorite gossip topic. One night, while a deal was at the office, Alina called. I picked up on the third ring. Her voice was rushed. "Hey, I just wanted to say I might be off the grid for a few days. Heading out of town with a friend. Just need a break from everything, you know?" I smiled. "Sure. You okay?" Yeah, all good. Just tired. Love you, Sana." She hung up before I could say it back. And that's when the first crack appeared. I didn't know it yet, but my life had already begun to unravel. The next day, I went to surprise Adil at his office. I'd made his favorite pasta, packed it in a thermos, and thought maybe, just maybe, we needed a small moment to reconnect. I was tired of the distance. I missed him, though when I got there, his office was dark. The receptionist looked at me, confused. "Adil? He hasn't been in all day. I think he's on leave?" "Leave?" My heart skipped. "Are you sure?" "Yeah." She nodded. "He said he'd be out of town for a couple days." That's when my hands began to shake. Out of town. Same days as Alina. Same vague excuse. Same timing. Same silence. I stood in the building lobby for what felt like hours. My heart is racing. My thoughts are spiraling, trying to make sense of it. Desperate to believe it was just a coincidence. Maybe they weren't together. Maybe I was overthinking. Maybe there was a reasonable explanation. But deep down, something inside me already knew. Still, I wasn't ready to believe it. Not yet. That night, I tried calling Adil. No answer. Tried Alina. Straight to voicemail. I didn't sleep. Just stared at the ceiling, heart pounding, imagining scenarios that made my stomach twist. And then something happened. The next morning, while scrolling through my phone, I opened Instagram. And there it was. A story posted by a random mutual friend. A short, blurry video taken at a beach resort. Laughter in the background. Clinking glasses. And just for a second, barely a second, I saw them. Adil and Alina. Sitting together. Close. Too close. smiling at each other like they weren't carrying a secret that could destroy me. I dropped the phone, and for the first time in our marriage, I felt something I'd never felt before. Fear. Not fear of losing Ado, but fear of what else he might have been hiding. And more terrifying than that, what else she was willing to do. I stared at the screen for what felt like hours. That 2-second video played on a loop in my mind, each frame slicing deeper than the last. Adil, Alina, together, but they weren't holding hands. They weren't kissing. They were just there, smiling, sitting close. Was that enough to accuse them? Was I really about to throw accusations based on a blurry clip and a gut feeling? No, I whispered to myself. They're friends. We're all friends. Maybe she invited him at the last minute. Maybe he needed a break and didn't want to bother me. But even as I said it, the words felt empty. Why didn't he tell me? Why did she lie? I kept replaying her voice in my head. That hurried tone. That nervous laugh. Love you, Sana. Love. Did she really? Because the woman I loved like a sister wouldn't lie, wouldn't sneak behind my back, wouldn't sit next to my husband on a beach while pretending to need space. Unless they were hiding something. The thought made me sick. I didn't go to work that day. I couldn't. I just sat in bed, surrounded by silence and questions I couldn't answer. Should I call them out? Should I pretend I don't know and wait for them to come clean? I picked up my phone a dozen times to text Adil. Then, Alina. Typed. Deleted. Typed again. Finally, I messaged her. Hope you're doing okay. Let me know when you're back. Miss you. It was fake. Hollow. But I needed to see her reaction. She replied 3 hours later. Hey, babe. Thanks. Just got back this evening. Let's catch up soon. Read. No mention of a deal. No details. Just that fake cheer in her words that used to comfort me now, it felt like poison dipped in sugar. I didn't reply. When Adil came home that night, I watched him walk through the door like nothing had happened. He kissed my forehead, smiled, said, "Missed you." And I almost laughed. He smelled like sea salt and hotel soap. How was work? I asked casually. Busy. You know how it is. He loosened his tie and flopped onto the couch. I'm dead. Lie. 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 Every word from his mouth felt like a stone on my chest. But I didn't say anything. Not yet. I needed more. More than a video. More than suspicion. Because if I confronted him now and he denied Etan she denied, Eta'd be the crazy wife. The insecure friend. The one who doubted without proof. So I played along. For days. Nights passed in cold silence, even though we talked. Laughed. Ate dinner. But inside, I was unraveling. I started checking his phone when he slept. Looking for traces. A message. A deleted thread. Anything. I even followed Alina's social media like an investigator, reading every caption, analyzing every comment. They were good. Too good. Then, one night, I saw it. A notification popped up on his phone. A name I didn't recognize. Camel. Just a heart emoji. No words. Just read we didn't know any camel. So I clicked on it. And what I found broke me in a new way. It was Alina. She had changed her name on his phone. Alina was Camille. She was hiding in plain sight. And that's when I stopped crying. Because I wasn't crazy. I wasn't paranoid. I wasn't overthinking. I was right. They were hiding something. And now I was done pretending not to know. The next morning, I woke up with a different kind of resolve. I wasn't going to confront him. Not yet. Not until I saw it with my own eyes. So I did something I never thought I'd do. I followed him. Adil left the house around 10 a.m., saying he had a client meeting in Goldberg. I waited 10 minutes before I slipped out behind him, keeping my distance. My heart was pounding so loudly, I was afraid it might give me away. He didn't go to Goldberg. He took a left toward DHA, weaving through back roads like he was trying not to be followed. That confirmed everything. He parked in front of a boutique hotel, not the kind where you go for business, the kind where no one asks questions. I pulled into a side street, far enough to stay hidden, close enough to watch. Minutes passed. Then she appeared, Alina, wearing a simple white salwar kameez. Hair tied up like she always did when she didn't want to draw attention. She didn't knock. She just walked straight in, like she belonged there, like she'd been there many times before. I felt the air leave my lungs. My hands shook on the steering wheel. Every memory we shared, the secrets, the sisterhood, the promises burned inside me like acid. I should have left. I should have driven away. But something inside me needed to see it. 30 minutes later, they came out, laughing. Adil held her hand for a second before letting go, like he forgot we lived in the same city, like he forgot he had a wife. But it wasn't just the hand-holding. It was Alina's stomach. At first, I thought I imagined it, but then I looked again. She was showing. Barely, but enough. She was pregnant. I froze. My body couldn't move. My mind refused to process what I was seeing. No. 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 This couldn't be happening. She wasn't just sleeping with my husband. She was carrying his child. I don't remember driving home. I don't remember anything except the hollow ringing in my ears. I sat on the bathroom floor for hours, clutching my knees to my chest, rocking like a child trying to hold herself together. How long has this been going on? How far back did the lies go? Was it that night he came home late from her birthday party? Or that weekend I was out of town for work and he insisted on staying behind? How many times had they laughed about me? Mocked my trust? Called me naive? My phone buzzed. A message from Agil. Hey love, the meeting ran long. We'll be late. Don't wait up, Red. That heart at the end. That same heart he sent her. I threw the phone against the wall. It shattered like my illusions. And in that moment, something inside me snapped. Not just from heartbreak, not just from betrayal, but from the humiliation. Because they didn't just betray me in secret. They built a life behind my back, one I was never supposed to find out about. But I had. And now they were going to regret everything. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I planned every step, every word, every look. I played it all out in my mind, again and again, until I was numb. And then I invited them both for dinner, just like old times. I texted Alina first. It's been too long. Come over tonight? Just the three of us. I made your favorite. She replied within minutes. Oh, I'd love that. Missed you. 8 p.m.? I nodded to myself. Perfect. Adil came home around 7, loosening his tie, humming a tune like nothing had happened. "I invited Alina," I said casually, lighting candles on the dining table. "She's coming for dinner." He froze, just for a second, then smiled. "Great, it's been a while." He was good at pretending, but not better than me. By 8:15 a.m., we were all seated. I served dinner like a perfect hostess biryani, raita, salad. I poured drinks, smiled, laughed at all the right places. They both looked so comfortable, like they believed I knew nothing. Until I placed a tiny gift box in the middle of the table. "What's this?" Alina asked, blinking. "A surprise," I said. "For the both of you." She glanced at Adil, then slowly opened it. Inside was a small strip of ultrasound paper, the one I had stolen from her handbag when she wasn't looking weeks ago. Silence fell. Adil's fork clinked against his plate. Alina's face was drained of color. I leaned back, crossing my arms. My truth? Alina stuttered. "Sara, I was going to tell me?" "When?" I snapped. "Before or after you gave birth to my husband's child." Adil stood up. "Sana, please, just let me sit down." I didn't raise my voice, but the weight behind those two words silenced him instantly. My hands trembled, but my gaze never wavered. "How long has it been?" Neither answered. So I laughed. 8 months, right? That's when you both stopped being available. When your late meetings started. When Alina needed space. Alina's lip quivered. "It wasn't supposed to happen like this." "Oh, you think?" I scoffed. "You were supposed to be my best friend. My sister. You cried in my arms when your ex dumped you one day. Now you're in bed with my husband?" Adil took a step toward me. "Sana, it was a mistake. A mistake." I threw a glass at the wall behind him. It shattered like every part of me. Getting drunk is a mistake. Forgetting an anniversary is a mistake. You don't just accidentally sleep with my best friend and make a baby. He opened his mouth, but I wasn't done. "You betrayed me. Both of you. And the worst part?" My voice cracked. "You didn't even have the decency to feel guilty. You laughed behind my back. You held hands in hotels. You made a life together." Alina started crying. "I didn't mean to hurt you, but you did," I said coldly. "And now I'll make sure you feel it too." Adil blinked. "What are you talking about?" I smiled, slow and cruel. "Check your email, both of you." They fumbled for their phones. I watched them read. I watched their faces twist in horror. Screenshots, videos, audio recordings. Every proof of their affair sent to their families, friends, Adil's board of investors, and to Alina's fiancé. Yes, the man she was still secretly engaged to. "You weren't the only one hiding secrets," I whispered. Adil dropped his phone. Alina was sobbing now, full body shakes, mascara streaking down her face. But I felt nothing. Not anger. Not sadness. Just a hollow kind of freedom. Because at that moment, I wasn't the broken wife. I was the woman who saw everything and didn't flinch. The house was silent after they left. I could still hear the echo of shattered glass. The sobs, the panic, the lies unraveling. But inside me, peace. For the first time in months, I wasn't carrying the weight of someone else's betrayal. I had handed it back to them exposed, raw, and burning. I didn't chase after a deal when he stormed out. Didn't answer when Alina called, begging to talk, saying she needed to explain. There was nothing left to explain. The next day, I filed for divorce. I didn't wait for him to plead or apologize. I didn't care how sorry he was or how lost he felt. He had made a choice. Now he could live with it alone, if I had anything to say about it. His family tried to intervene. His mother cried. His father called it a phase. But I didn't bend, because phases don't last 8 months. Phases don't destroy friendships and create babies built on lies. Alina disappeared for a while. Left the city, maybe. Her fiancé? Gone. The engagement was off. I made sure of that. He deserved to know what he was marrying into. A deal tried to fix things. Send flowers. Showed up at my office. But I never spoke to him again. I let my lawyer handle everything. I let silence be my loudest answer. Some nights, I still lay awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I missed something, some sign, some moment where I could have stopped this train from crashing. But no matter how many times I replayed the past, the ending was always the same: betrayal and survival. I sold the house. Too many memories soaked into the walls like bloodstains. I moved into a smaller apartment. A little sunlight, a little peace. I started painting again, something I hadn't done since college. It was messy, chaotic, honest. Just like me. People often ask if I ever saw them again. Once. 6 months later. I was at a bookstore, flipping through a memoir about healing, when I looked up and saw them. Alina was holding a baby. Adil stood beside her, older, worn out, like life had taken a bite out of him and spit him back out. He saw me, and for a second, he smiled, like he wanted to come over. But I just looked at him, and then I turned away. Because I wasn't her anymore. I wasn't the woman who begged for love or held on to people who only knew how to lie. I was the woman who walked through fire and didn't come out burned. And as I stepped into the sunlight that day, I realized something: sometimes we lose people we thought we couldn't live without. And then we breathe. We rebuilt. We become stronger. Someone who will never, ever mistake silence for loyalty again.